I have to constantly remind myself that I spent thousands of hours doing webinars. I spent tens of thousands of hours creating those webinars. I spent countless thousand hours thinking about webinars, sleeping and dreaming about webinars. How do I distill 20,000 plus hours and the total sum of my knowledge into something that you can immediately put into action and have a bottom line impact the first time that you use it? Well, here's how. We are just going to break down the formula, make it systematic, and then we remove any uncertainty or any doubt. It's kind of one of those things. Follow the formula, get the result, right? Would you like to look at and explore the ins and outs of each of these steps as we go through here? Of course. Let's start with the introduction. The introduction is the first phase of your webinar. And let me ask you this. Who here has attended a webinar before this one? I'm going to make an assumption, not a very bold one, mind you, that this is not the first webinar you've ever been on. You've probably been on more than one. Some of you have probably been on many, many webinars. I've been on many webinars as an attendee before I ever did my first webinar. And here's a follow-up question for you. Do most webinar introductions leave a lot to be desired? Yeah, they start painful and then they get worse as they go on, don't they? Here's the challenge with the introduction. You only have one chance to make a first impression. You have 5 minutes. You can either dazzle or dull, inspire or annoy, make money or cost you money. 5 minutes. Just like Mama always said, you only get one chance to make a first impression. Now, here's what an ideal introduction accomplishes. It seizes the attention of the audience. It makes distraction all but impossible. It communicates that something special is about to happen that will once and for all solve a problem that's afflicting your audience dearly. And it holds within it that the future is indeed bright and you're going to help them realize and make that future a reality. That's what an ideal introduction does. Unfortunately, most introductions in webinars don't accomplish that, so therefore they don't need and nor do they deserve to make the money. You deserve it instead. When it comes to doing an introduction, here are the things I accomplish or aim to accomplish in every single introduction for every single sales webinar I've ever created that's ever made any money. They accomplish the following, and if you don't have pen or pencil handy, take it out right now because we are going to break down very specific things that you can utilize. Here are the things that I look to do in my introduction, every single one of them, no matter what I'm selling, no matter what industry it's selling to, no matter consumer, business to business, service, software, information product, coaching program, you name it, this is it. Authority, commitment, objections, hope, intrigue. Accomplish these 5 things in your first 5 minutes, and you will not have to do anything else in your webinar, and you can easily double or triple your results. Okay? So of these 5, authority is the most important. This is the one you want to make sure you nail above and beyond anything else. Now you said, Jason, if you made a study of authority, what would that look like? I will tell you. There are only a few components to authority. Results, positioning, celebrity, testimonial. So when I say I'm going to accomplish authority in my introduction, I'm going to utilize results in some way, I'm going to utilize positioning in some way, I'm going to utilize celebrity in some way, and I'm going to utilize testimonial in some way. Now this is not theoretical, because I did this very thing in this introduction to this very webinar. How did I achieve this? And it's funny because it's very simple actually once you see it. I like to show and tell. And this is one of the reasons why I like webinars so much, and this is one of the reasons you need to adapt them in your business if you have any hope of thriving in the future. So for example, what's this? This is a result, personal results. It's one way to establish authority. And what are these elements? These are positioning, things that I pay $25,000 for and $100,000 for. And so I'm positioning myself in a very authoritative standpoint. Celebrity, right? Being next to people like a Tony Robbins or a Bob Proctor. And then showcasing these results of people like John, Nick, Guy, and the other John. Those are testimonials. And I did those seamlessly to help establish authority, and it's just a checklist, though. People think authority is some vague concept. It's these 4 things, and if I accomplish and utilize at least 1, hopefully 2, ideally 3, we're really cooking if we do all 4 of the components of authority, boom, we're well on our way to a killer webinar. Oh, and I also did every other component in the introduction. And so I created commitment in the introduction. I said, I need you to commit to me to implement what I'm going to show you today. I handled objections in advance. My objection of I'm up here, you're over here, how do we connect together? That's one of the objections I handled. There were others, right? Fostered hope for the future. This was one of the very first slides that I showed you here today. And I created mystery and intrigue. Would you like to know how we did this? Here's what's coming up on the webinar, et cetera, et cetera. This is a very effective strategy for creating a very committed individual to your introduction, set the tone correctly, make that first impression, show, and get them in a state where they can receive the value you're going to give. Yet it's systematic. I am fully confident you could give me anybody off the streets with the smallest amount of desire to get wealthy. We could put them in front of this, give them some technique, and they could go out there and do it just as good as pretty much anybody, because it's a system that I've developed over the last 8 years. The ideal introduction accomplishes the following. It sucks each attendee in, puts them immediately into a buying mood in minutes. Communicates something special is about to happen. An exciting new ride attendees are about to go on, where the destination is more happiness and less suffering, where the future is bright and the potential is unlimited. Question to you: if you did this and nothing else, do you think it would dramatically improve your webinar effectiveness? Do you think it would help? Do you think it could make the difference between a webinar that just doesn't do anything and one that puts you on a 6- or 7-figure path? Tougher question. Do you think your audience deserves it? And every moment that you deny it to them is a moment you're actively participating in their despair. I know how to ask the strong questions because this is really important stuff. I am tired of seeing these lackluster webinars out there, and they're making money, by the way, and they shouldn't be, though, but they do because webinars are effective. And you're sitting here with something that you could offer just by being here, just by putting the time in. I know you're more likely to do it right, especially following the system, and you're not doing that. That's the greatest injustice on this planet, is to have the ability to help somebody and choose not to, especially when there are a lot of rewards. So you say, Jason, I'm in. Are you in? I hope you're in. If you're in, start here with your webinar. Your introduction looks like this. How am I going to achieve authority status? I've given you some tips. How am I going to create commitment in the first few minutes? What is the key objection or objections I'm going to have to address to make the sale later on, and let's bring them up front? How are we going to make people hopeful that the future is going to be better? Because a lot of people that have problems and challenges that are looking to solve those, it's trouble for them to even get up in the morning. And how are they going to say yes to an offer that you're going to make if they don't think the future is going to be better? So how are we going to foster that hope for the future? And how are we going to create mystery and intrigue to make sure that they stay on the line and they stay paying attention? This is where you start. You follow this, you immediately start to put a system process where there once wasn't one, and you're off to the races.